obviously we saw last week, the Idris Taka comp that Infamous played. I think if Celsior let it through, then that wouldn't be very smart, because Infamous were just so absolutely destructive playing that Idris delivery system combination. And I think it'd be good to see if they can pull it out again. I think I may have I have the second game the wrong way around. It's actually Eanix against Brenchong will be played second. So you are right, Azariah. Scarf is very likely to be either picked by Eanix or banned away from them.
So this is going to be quite interesting because, I mean, like, still Brenchong is one of those, I would say, up-and-coming teams, and Eanix are, I guess, that middle ground team that's always been there but hasn't really stepped up their game. So it's going to be like an interesting, I guess, interaction between the two of these teams. Who is hungrier to stay more in this tournament? Is it going to be Brenchong, the newcomers, or is it going to be Eanix? The ones who have already stayed in this tournament for quite a bit of time.
Yeah, definitely. I think that it's going to be interesting to see if Eanix are going to be able to get, as you said, that scarf, and I think they'll be pretty wanting to pull out the best that they can. And so, without further ado, draft is ready. So we are going to go into the draft.
The draft begins.
So Brenchong will have the right of first pick, immediately banning out the Batiste. It's been a lot of Batiste bans throughout the day. I mean, just watching that match between Elite 8 and Impunity.
Yeah, we did see Batiste banned away every game, or banned away from Elite 8, but Impunity banned it both games, because in that game Elite 8 were very comfortable on Batiste, but similarly he's such a strong hero that if one side gets Batiste, you either have to ban or pick Catherine to make sure they don't get that combination. Idris being banned just makes a lot of sense. Brenchong focused on Idris quite a lot, and so Eanix banning that away does make sense. Grace is a strong captain. I think they're probably going to go for Lyra now. Eanix do like to pick Lyra, sometimes even over Grace, but they still might go for something like a Glaive.
But I guess the latter is better. Go for the other healer here to unfold. What's kind of curious here? Like, within this day, during the 2 matches that we watched, plus we actually were able to see the draft for the third game between Elite and Impunity, we have 100% pick rate on the Grace.
Yeah, normally we see Grace banned as opposed to being picked. So I guess these teams don't think that she needs to be banned. You can let her be picked and try and counter it. This Cruel ban, we haven't seen a lot of Cruel being played by Eanix. Maybe this is just... we saw a little bit of Cruel when it works with the Scarf, but maybe that's just something that Brenchong are extremely worried about. They don't want to go against it. Maybe they have a hero like Black Feather or Alpha that they want to play that's really quite hard countered by Cruel. And as I said, Eanix like to pick up Glaive. They could have flexed that into Captain, but as they've already picked Lyra, it's very likely to be a Weapon Glaive, and they tend to do Weapon Glaive in the jungle as opposed to in the lane. But of course, they could flex it if they go Scarf jungle, then they're going to then that Glaive will go in the lane. I think Brenchong here are likely to pick maybe a Vox Samuel combination. Those are heroes they really like to play, and they're extremely strong and open. With Idris not available, Vox does make a lot of sense, especially with Baron banned as well.
I think there's also the possibility of Eanix picking out a Celeste just because the Idris isn't there. I mean, there's maybe the Taka would be a suitable counter as well, but this might be a good setup for maybe that Celeste for Eanix. Yeah,
Celeste is a really strong mage that we saw Eanix play when the Scarf was banned away from them. They picked up Celeste and did loads of damage on it. Brenchong taking a lot of time to think about this pick. They could obviously go for Kestrel as another weapon power carry, but it's quite hard to play Kestrel against Glaive, because if you get caught out of position, you're going to be in trouble. They are going to pick the Samuel. They do like to play Samuel. And what weapon power carry do you think they could go for? Would you expect to see a Ringo, or you just think they're going to fall back on the safe box bit?
I feel that they might go for the Vox just because it's a bit more balanced, and plus a really high contested pick throughout this split. But there you have it. Maybe the Kestrel just to go for a bit more range.
Yeah, they want more range, they want more turret siege potential is really what they're going with that comp. It's going to be hard for Eanix to defend their turrets if they don't go for a lot of range. I think Scarf would still be a great pick. Yeah, they're going to pick it. Eanix so comfortable on Scarf.
Yeah.
And it just stops that lane pressure. If they put Scarf in the lane, she has really quick clear speed, so you don't have to worry about Kestrel seizing your turrets too much, because she'll have trouble against the Scarf. And you can obviously try and outpoke Samuel Kestrel. So I think it's a good draft for Eanix. They've definitely got their comfort picks, and I think Brenchong will be pretty similar.
So I'm really curious to see again what happens in this game. But looking at the comps, I mean, for me, I might have a little bit of a more comfortable, I guess, look at the comp of Eanix, just because again they got the comfort pick on the Scarf, and they have a Lyra, which is really good, I feel like, against a Grace, just because you do have that bulwark, and maybe on the Samuel as well, just because if you position it correctly, the bulwark, you'll be able to stop him from going with his drifting, but I could be wrong, as well as on the Kestrel, who does have that active camo.
Yeah, I think Lyra is a good pick to keep Scarf alive, but the Bright Bulwark doesn't counter anything except Grace's retribution. So that's really all you can stop, but it is extremely useful if you can use that Bright Bulwark to stop Grace dashing in to get her stun off. Scarf won't be able to run away from the Holy Nova, unlike Glaive, who can after run out of it. If you do trap Scarf inside that knock-up, she's pretty much free meat for Kestrel and Samuel to burst down. But I do agree with you that Eanix have got so much comfort in their composition. They know how to play the comp, and I think they'll be able to pull it off pretty successfully. The win condition for Brenchong, however, is to get the turrets early, push their advantage that they have of sieging turrets, and make it so Scarf cannot ramp up into late game.
So as we are waiting for both of these teams to get into the Halcyon Fold, guys, which of these two teams do you think will win on our first game? Is it going to be newcomers Brenchong or Eanix? Just put it on the chat, guys. Put that hashtag, like Elixir was saying a while ago. Maybe for Brenchong, hashtag Bren win, and then for Eanix, it's hashtag Eanix win or EAN win.
Yeah, I think there's going to be quite a lot of support for Eanix in the chat. Generally, do tend to see that, but I'm sure Brenchong will have some love of their own. And I think Sync One doesn't really know who he's up against in the jungle, because obviously I said I prefer to see a Scarf lane, but generally the meta is prefer to see jungle Scarf. Do you think having that Scarf in jungle to try and clear the farm as quickly as possible, stop Samuel invading would work, and maybe leave Glaive a little bit exposed in lane, or would you prefer to see Scarf up in lane?
I would say maybe Scarf up in lane, because if you do have that jungle Glaive, you can just sneak up and then, I guess, bombard the Kestrel. What would be better, like to focus early the Kestrel or the Samuel? Because I feel like the Kestrel would be an easier target to, just start, I guess, harassing in the early game.
Yeah, that is true. Trophies is on Scarf, so it's definitely going to be in the lane. I agree with you that if you stop Kestrel farming up with those afterburns to get her out of position, you'll be in a really good position. The only problem with that comp is Glaive has pretty slow farm clear compared to what Samuel will have, especially once Samuel gets his level 2. He'll clear those back extremely quickly compared to what Glaive does. But then again, if Samuel does try to invade, this is him going low in lane.
Oh, the chase is on Mr. Jim. He can't get away. They don't even need the Glaive, and that's going to be first blood for Eanix.
Well, good rotation from Bubba Monkey, going straight to lane, getting those basic attack, Principal Arcanum powered basic attacks, and the Imperial Sigils to do as much damage as possible. And yeah, you said you need to pressure Kestrel. Well, she's only got 3 CS and immediately dies, so that's definitely good pressure from the side of Eanix. And now Brenchong are doing their own rotation up and engage by Grace, but Samuel doesn't want to go in.
Majin cannot get there in time, or rather his teammates cannot get in time. So, no joy for Brenchong just yet. Rubber Monkey aggressive right here. And Majin actually missing a Holy Nova, thinking that he might have caught out Rubber Monkey. But that leaves Mr. Jim a little bit vulnerable here for the meantime. But now, in the jungle, you can see I Angry You Die going aggressive to Sync 1. But he's got to be careful. Here comes the Grace. Sees him. They are now flanking hard onto the Glaive. Can he get away? The answer to that will be no. And there you go. Brenchong get themselves a revenge kill.
Yeah, they do. First Blood went over to Lyra, actually, on the Rubber Monkey on this Lyra. When they picked up Cashman. That was saw that very likely Sync 1 wanted to rotate up to a gank on Scarf. So Iron Gudai immediately went straight to the backs of Sync 1. But because this Kestrel, as the Kestrel was going very low in lane, is he going to fall?
Wow, Trophies is unleashed right now. That's going to be so close. The 1-for-1 Trophies connecting. A beautiful last Spitfire there before he goes down himself. And my goodness, Eanix have put, I guess, aggression is the name of the game for this game. Wow.
Yeah, dive under turrets, take the turret shots. As long as you secure the kill, it's kind of worth it. I think because Scarf saw where the wave was, deciding that if they traded 1-for-1, that would be worth it for her. And going back to my point today, Glaive went to be aggressive against Samuel, which is great. If you can still farm away from Samuel in the early game, he's really going to come out ahead. Samuel really needs that farm to ramp up, and he has a strong early game, so you shouldn't be able to do that. And now Eanix are going to try to push this turret. In fact, they're just going to go for damage instead onto Mr. Jim. And there's the boots. Angry Die.
Can he get a good connection on the afterburn? I think, yeah, he won't be able to. But Eanix, you can really see how aggressive they are right now. Really looking at on how they control the lane equilibrium. And it's, I think in a way, it's also catching off guard Brenchong. The port will be will be finished, or that will not be finished. Rubber Monkey, a little bit of a bad guy for that moment.
Yeah, stopping Grace, pausing home, means she can be here to defend this turret. Try and get some damage onto Trophies, but it's not really going to happen. Just a little bit of poke in lane, and Iron Gudai's managing to back off and not get damaged by the Samuel. He's got quite a lot of gold, but we'll be able to shop at the jungle now that it has intensified. Mr. Jim could be out of position.
Oh, he might be. Bulwark will not connect, but that doesn't even matter. And Trophies once again gets the kill on the Kestrel. So that's 100% kill participation for Trophies. He's been a little bit over-aggressive, but it pays off well for his Scarf.
Yeah, you don't tend to see Scarf being aggressive. Someone's putting up Rubber Monkey. Yeah, fine. Got an Imperial Sigil to run away. But Trophies, as I said, you don't see Scarves being aggressive early on. You tend to see Scarf ramping up and just trying to farm. The late game, but a good way to farm is if your enemy laner is dead, farming becomes really easy because you've just got minions to worry about. You haven't got the poke from them. Scarf was waiting in the top bush like we see Ringos very often do, and Kestrel just wasn't ready for it. Didn't see Scarf, so maybe thought she backed off. Scarf was just waiting, and now Mr. Jim is farming under turret, so it's really good for Eanix and Trophies. Port will be cancelled, so a bit of a...
Oh my goodness. They actually tried to bait out an engagement from Majin by, I believe, Trophies just staying in the lane and porting in front of their faces. Eanix are playing really
I think he does want to port home. He's got 2,500 gold, so he does now he's going to port home in the bush. But as you said, that port in the middle of the lane, really obvious for Majin, basically forced him to stop it, because if he didn't stop it, Scarf was in a great position having just ported home. And so then Grace went in and took more than half health damage from Trophies and Rubber Monkeys. It was a good decision from Eanix just to force Grace into a position she didn't really want to be in. And they are not actually ahead on gold. So the gold deficit for Brenchong got is almost nothing, about 100, 200 gold, fluctuating depending on who's got the lane farm. And so even though Eanix have been doing all this aggression, it hasn't really come to anything yet.
That's true, but that might change right now as Eanix is heavily pushing into the lane. Good damage onto the turret. The Goop plus Spitfire combo is doing its work. And I think they don't know that Iangry Yadai is right here. Mr. Jim could get caught off right off the bat. Look at the damage. There's also the connection. Bulwark should follow through as well. And Mr. Jim is almost down. There's going to be the hero kill. Dre, and the fight again breaks out. Even more trophies into the sidelines. Majin is very low. Sync 1 wants to go aggressive, but this Samuel is a little bit low on the range. He's being chased down right now by trophies, but here comes the support from Majin. But this might be an ace. Can they chase onto Majin? Will the answer to that be yes? He is just scurrying away from the fight as he doesn't have the damage or the chase potential. Mr. Jim though connects a fadeaway, 1-shot, 1-kill, but doesn't get the kill.
Yeah, if it had landed Monkey, that would have been a kill with 1-shot, 1-kill. Trophy's managing to tank it, and now back up to full health thanks to that Lyra heal. Majin just doing a little bit of poke in lane, and that was a really good fight for Eanix. They nearly got the delayed ace, but Grace is just too quick. Her movement speed still being not nerfed in this patch, so still that 0.2 reduction in movement speed is not on Grace, so she's just so annoying to try and chase. And there's Glaive, but he will be flared out.
Trophies is not on the fight once again, but he can just join it really fast because of that range, because of his artillery skill set, Spitfire and Goop. Oh, Angry Yadai spots out Mr. Jim in this weapon. Power Glaive almost getting the Kestrel. Though Sync 1 was able to hold his hand enough in time. Defensive bulwark for Rubber Monkey as well as the passage, but they might have just been caught out by the trap. Sync 1 is healing up, and he is lucky that he wasn't broken down there by Trophies.
Lots of damage on the Scarf. Scarf does want to port home to probably get a Frostburn, or could pick up a Shatterglass right now with the amount of gold Trophies he's got. And that was a good defensive passageway from Rubber Monkey, managing to not get caught out, to run away and almost bait the kill onto Sync 1. That's one thing Eanix are extremely good at, is using their abilities and their just positioning to try and bait Brenchong into a poor position. They've done it a couple of times this match. Trophies wants to push the turret, very objective focused.
And Yadai going aggressive. He knows that the race already, the Holy Nova, so CCs for him to survive, and he gets taken down. No, he actually survives, but the turret will not. So Eanix really looking to actually play like super smart in this game. They're seeing they're seeing all these small mistakes from Brenchong and capitalizing heavy on their small mistakes.
Yeah, they are now 500 gold ahead, so that is good for Eanix. Grace with that Echo being picked up, but I wouldn't be surprised if Lara goes for a no-way gauntlet. We saw it against Grace's Echo in the last game, and so maybe Rubber Monkey would do it again. Angry Yadai's Infusion is about to run out, so he does want to fight at this moment because no one else is infused, so that is an advantage for the Glaive. I think Eanix, they've obviously taken the turret, so they should be probably a bit more ahead in gold than they are. But the CS lead is pretty much on Sync 1 compared to Angry Yadai. He's about 10 CS ahead. I think he's cleared the jungle more effectively, managing to get more rotations than Glaive has during the same amount of time, which is why the gold lead is 500 and not really 1,000.
Yeah, and I think Angry Yadai has been going to the lane quite a bit more than Sync 1 has, so we'll be seeing a fight break out right here. There's going to be Angry Yadai pushing back Sync 1. That's not what they want, so they're going to be trying to reposition for the meantime. Eanix trying to dip in and out of the fight, looking for an opening here against Brenchong. They're going to be using Trophies with his range, actually not being able to activate the Goop, which is kind of weird. Now he does. So Eanix are doing a little bit of damage. Nice dodge on the ultimate of the Kestrel, and Majin might go aggressive into this one. He's gonna drop down a Holy Nova, but gets trapped inside of the Bulwark. Double usage onto the intervention, and he will be able to survive. Oh, and for the meantime, 3-4-3. Both of these players still alive, and Brenchong will be going back into their own base.
Yeah, this could be a gold mine for Eanix. I don't think they spotted any ports home. They're pretty confident that they were in a best position in the fight, so they are going to start the gold mine. Trophies was spotted out by the scout trap. He's not going to attack it until that scout trap wears off, but it will be flared out. they're not going to be able to sneak a gold mine in time. Brenchong could just reverse, try and take this gold mine now. And both teams look like they kind of want to fight, but no one wants to be out of position. The Eanix, if they want to take a fight, need to have Glaive afterburning. Currently, Glaive's afterburning Samuel out of the Drifting Dark. That's all he's doing. As soon as he sees that Drifting Dark put forward, he's just afterburn Samuel away. That's all he's doing, so that the Drifting Dark, so Samuel doesn't get empowered with his Malice and Verdicts. It's a good idea, but the win condition for Eanix is to get Samuel Orchestral on top of Glaive, so Glaive can basic attack them and Scarf manages to poke from range. So if Glaive punts Samuel away, that's not playing into their win condition, that's more into Brenchong's. They have much more poke, even though you've got a Scarf on your team, they've got 2 poke here compared to your 1. See the damage if Truffy gets hit by one of those limit shots.
And here you go, fight breaks out. There's gonna be the burst onto Majin. Perfect initiation there from Iangry. You die. The clutch shields as well. Oblivion will not actually have much impact for Brenchong. And my goodness, Iangry die even with a sliver of HP. He has put his trust into Rubber Monkey and is following up into for the captain of Eanix. They get the connection onto Sync 1, but that wasn't a pushback into the Embracing Arms of Eanix. Although they do get the stun, still it's not going to be enough, and Eanix might just back away here, and
Margin
they will.
Has respawns. Yeah, they're going to back off. Margin did respawn, so Eanix trying to run away. There's Imperial Sigil to get Truffy's back towards the turret. Glaive did manage to get the backs away from the 6-1, so he did port home, and I think he was spotting because the one-shot one kill went out to try and hit Glaive. And I said I wanted to see Lara get a null wave. She's actually going Echo instead to echo that Imperial Sigil just to get as much healing as possible. I think it makes sense. As I said, I'd prefer to see null wave against Grace because if you prevent Grace from getting her second heal off, you also prevent her from using Fountain and using all of those items that she needs using the Atlas. Whereas if you echo, you only get a little bit more heal. You're just trying to beat Grace at her own game and trying to counter.
Yeah, or the other factor there, double bulwark, double passage.
Yeah, it can be used pretty flexibly on Lyra as opposed to on Grace. You don't want to bulwark your Nova or your dash. That's just a waste. But it's pretty much you do it accidentally if you do that on Grace.
Yeah. We'll just have to see. Majin is in a pretty good spot here, but look at this. They start off with the usage of that passage, and Truffy's is following up really well for Eanix, although that's to be said yet. They haven't broken down the HP bars of Brenchong as the intervention comes out beautifully for Majin. Majin is looking to set up here, but he gets caught up by Truffy's. Truffy's is chasing him down, puts out the goop, gets the kill. That's going to be the 2-for-0, and only Mr. Jim to survive. Will Mr. Jim be able to get away? Oh, the Dragon's Breath. He's so low, and Rubber Monkey is going to be able to finish him off. Truffy's was in a weird spot. He might have gotten, rather taken down with that Glimmer Shot, but he survives. So Eanix with an ace.
Kestrel almost with the 1v3 plays, but just think a little bit not enough energy to actually pull that off. Managed to stun Scarf out of her Dragon's Breath, which would have easily killed Kestrel. Used the Sentry to tank some of those Spitfires, and they don't get the gold mine. Eanix not quick enough to rush to the gold mine. Obviously, Truffy's had to take the turret, but 15 minutes has come up, so Kraken instead of the gold mine is a slightly disappointment for Eanix because that is 900 gold that they have basically lost by just being a little bit too slow. And Scarf is now, we've got four completed damage items and the tier 3 boots is really in a good position to fight. Truffy's going to afford an infusion now when he shops, so Eanix are going to look for a fight pretty soon.
This Kraken could prove to be the key for Eanix to get this first game. But, I mean, they don't have to. They have good damage and good, I guess, team fight presence against Brenchong. And here you have it. Truffy's will be using the Dragon's Breath. He will be almost bombarding Sync 1, but Sync 1 survives once more. And they actually get Rubber Monkey, as Rubber Monkey is on that Lyra. Goes in a bit too over-aggressive. Look at the damage to onto Sync 1. Truffy's is one hell of a beast here onto this fight. He's going aggressive. Still, active camo from Mr. Jim. They're chasing them down right because Truffy's can just do just that. The 2-for-1 trade is still heavily in favor of Brenchong. And Trophies is starting to get low on energy. Majin, he wants blood. He's going in, diving in as well. But Trophies will be able to capitalize the hero kill to connect and sink one. This is a Samuel outranged by the Scarf, but he's playing really well, hiding behind the brush and trying to bait out the Scarf. But still, that is a 2 for 2. And I think Brenchong actually got a little bit of win against that.
Yeah, well, 2 for 2 trade. It actually looks like Eanix are going to go straight for the Kraken. They must have had a good suspicion that Samuel ported home, and obviously Trophies didn't, because Lyle was there to give the Imperial Sigil. I think Trophies was really good with the bait, one shot, just helping out Eanix take the Kraken, but Brenchong do now know Kraken is being taken. Kestrel not going to steal it, the Scarf, and they're going to go in.
They're going to go in indeed. The Lyro once more uses the passage aggressively to go in your face of Brenchong. Good pushback onto the Samuel. They will actually, or rather Mr. Jim will be able to survive, but they will be porting back to base, actually just in time for this Kraken to arrive. So Brenchong not losing too much, except for maybe the steal on the Kraken, but still not too bad.
Yeah, they are able to secure the Kraken for Eanix. Trophies is now so much damage. We saw in the last fight, he took 500 with the Spitfire when he got a couple of broken mid-stacks. Now this is going to be even more with that extra pierce that he's now picked up. However, Brenchong is just destroying this Kraken while Trophies isn't there. Kraken down to half health. I think Eanix is just going to try and push one type, but no, they're going to go for a fight.
Oh, that was so good, the catch onto the Kestrel, but they couldn't follow through. The Grace was in their face. And here comes the Kraken, trying to break down onto the first turret. Eanix. Oh. Sorry. My...
Kraken's breath being used by Scarf. Scarf's going very low. Could get healed up. Kraken's actually taking the next...
There it is.
On the own Eanix, are they going to get the bait?
I think they will be able to. Nobody important is dead yet for Eanix. I agree with that, of course, but Trophies is dealing so good damage that it's just gonna be game 1 for Eanix. So GGWP.
Wow, we saw the goop landing onto Kestrel at the end there, and she just got deleted. Tick, tick, tick. Just so much damage from Trophies onto Mr. Jim and Sync 1. That 4 damage items and the extra piercing shard on Scarf, making her basically undefeatable in terms of pure damage. Obviously, if they managed to get on top of Scarf, they could have killed her. The Glimmer shots from Kestrel were chunking Trophies very low. The Rough Monkey had the Fountain and 2 Imperial Sigils with the Echo, which made Trophies so hard to kill. And if you let Iron Gyudai on Glaive get on top of you, you were going to die as well, because they had no weapon power defense, because they had to focus on crystal power shielding against Trophies. So Iron Gyudai, as soon as he got one good afterburn on anyone, be it Samuel or Kestrel, he was going to get a kill. Trophies as well, just playing fantastically on the Scarf, landing almost all of those Spitfires for massive damage.
Yeah, and I just have to give it to Eanix, because, I mean, even without the Glaive, it's been so good for the early game with Rubber Monkey and Trophies. Always, like, I don't know, 2-3 kills onto Mr. Jim, even without the help of this Glaive. So I think that also was a pretty good start for Eanix.
Yeah, certainly. And actually, to talk about this second draft, I'm going to be joined by the fantastic Luxuria. So, Luxuria, how are you doing today?
Hello. That game between Brenchong and Eanix was just so beautifully done coming out from the side of Eanix. I mean, granted, they have got a few, hiccups here and there in the early game coming into the mid game. But like you said, Minimizer, once Trophies has got all the items up and of course a pure crystal damage coming out from that Scarf, and we saw how Mr. Jim on that Castro just blown up immediately once, the Goop and Spitfire combo came out. Was just amazing. Honestly, with so much emphasis on this Scarf, there is really no reason that any team going up against that of Eanix shouldn't band out drop. Honestly, it was just down to Trophies and the amount of damage that that Scarf can output. Even the Divine Intervention wasn't quite enough at all, even with an Echo to just heal your carries back back to full health. So that is one thing that a lot of teams has to consider coming into the draft, going up against Eanix. Anyways, a quick announcement and an update for all the viewers out there. Elite 8, the match between Elite 8 and Impunity. Elite 8 did manage to win that third match and won the best of 3, 2-1. And it's quite amazing because we are walking through draft and the desk, we are split for the side of that game itself, the third game between Impunity and Elite 8. We were split. Minimita, the awesome analyst, was saying that the side of Impunity would win. Whereas for me, like, Koshka has been prioritized at least for that. Koshka and thus Impunity banned out. So I guess Official Hyde had got some tricks up his sleeves. And I really like the draft coming out from the side of Elite 8 as well with that Koshka. And they ultimately take the game going up against Impunity. So congratulations. They will be moving into the semi-finals that will be played tomorrow.
Yes, they will. So for the second draft, I highly expect that Scarf is going to be banned. If it's not banned, you just saw how strong Truffy's is on Scarf. He's going to be as comfortable on Celeste, but I think they're definitely going to do it. So draft is ready. Without further ado, we are going to go into the draft.
The draft begins.
So coming into this draft, like you said, the side of Impunity, or rather the side of Brenchong, they should really prioritize on this Scarf ban. For now, we do see Brenchong being on the red side, and of course Eanix being on the red side, blue side. Eanix, we do see an Idris coming out as per the first draft. They did ban out that Idris as well. As you said, Brenchong, they should really prioritize on this Scarf. Scarf was just outputting so much damage in that first game. They are still going to go for that Cruel ban.
Yeah, banning Cruel away from Iron You Die. I think that's why they did it in the last game. They're doing it again. They just know how strong Iron You Die is on Cruel. Obviously his glaive was extremely good in the last game, but clearly Brenchong are very worried about how that Cruel's going to be. Again, Eanix have so much emphasis on Liva. It's pick ban in every game for them, so that it wasn't banned away from them. They're going to pick it, and Brenchong going for the Baron. This is the first Baron we've seen today. Do you think that's a good idea, or do you think it's going to be countered? Obviously, Idris can't counter it. Do you think they might go for maybe a Weapon Lance and Scarf, because it looks like they could still get that comp for Eanix?
Well, we might still see that Weapon Lance. Probably not Weapon Lance per se, but I have a feeling that the side of Eanix may just pull out that of, say, the Black Feather just to go up against this Baron, the Crystal Black Feather. And they might run the double crystal for all we know, but Scarf is still a really big emphasis coming into this game. If not, then we might see a Castrol as well. Truffy's has played on that Castrol. Not a bad pick. Going into a Baron, at least you have got the earlier burst going up against that Baron. And honestly, going into this game, the draft is slightly different. Baron, we've known and we've seen played as well. Oh, one more thing as well, not forgetting, I think Angry Die played on that Ozo as well. So we might see an Ozo come out just to counter that Baron. So that's a possibility as well. I mean, for Baron being in the meta for so long, there has been so much counters that has been built up against him. So it is just down to how the side of Eanix would draft going into the Baron, and of course Catherine pickup coming up from the side of Brenchong.
Yeah, I think everyone would like to see an Ozo. He's one of those heroes where it doesn't get played a lot, but when he does get played, he can really snowball in the early game and destroy quite a lot of people. I would be surprised if Eanix go for anything except for Scarf in one of these two picks. It's not been banned away from them. They're so comfortable on it. They're so good at playing it. And obviously the glaive was banned, so they can't do the same comps in the last game. But they've got lots of weapon power junglers that Iron Gudai can play. Obviously, I talked about the Weapon Lance, you talked about the Black Feather, who could still be played Weapon, is quite good against Baron. And I don't think they're going to go for double Crystal Power, because Baron really excels, again, if he can only build one form of defense. And so he really wants to build one defense and then 4 damage items. So you want to make sure that's not easy for Baron. And they're going to go for the Taka. We have not seen Weapon Taka in about 5 years. Do you think they're going to go for double Crystal, or maybe an on-hit Taka?
It's highly probable that the Taka may go on hit with that tension bow aftershock, but then again, that Taka hasn't been seen played at all in the current meta. A lot of times the Taka will go for that Storm Crown, for that aftershock, and then just go in for burst. So it's not exactly really crystal based damage coming up from the Taka in the early game, but once Taka goes for that Broken Myth, then he will become that crystal assassin that he is known for. However, we have a threat of that Catherine still sitting, for the side of Brenchong, and he could go in for that Scarf if, stunning Scarf out of Dragon's Breath, but honestly, that is really not Travis' main form of damage at the end of the day. In response, the side of Brenchong has got a lot of options open up as well. Like I said, they have a lot of options, and they are just going to prime and go for that Castro, Crystal Castro. Crystal Castro, I guess, does well against Taka if you can just be wary of his positioning. So probably defense will be, or rather not defense, but vision will be, a priority in this game. And whether or not the side of Eanix can snowball their earlier advantage going up against Brenchong, so that they know they can end the game early before Brenchong and before Baron or even Castro build up enough damage, is really important, and it kind of hinges on that as to whether Eanix will win and take the second round.
Yeah, I do agree. I think Brenchong have gone for the decision that, okay, you like to play Scarf, which means you like late game heroes, so we're going to pick Baron and Christopher Kestrel, so if it gets to late game, we're going to win. And I think it's going to be very hard for Eanix, despite how good they are on that Scarf, to beat a late game Baron and Crystal Kestrel, because they're such item dependent heroes, expensive item dependent heroes. I do trust Brenchong to be able to pull it off if it does get 25 minutes in or maybe even later. But I don't think Crystal Kestrel was the best decision. I think they're much more comfortable on Samuel, was available. It's quite good against Taka. It will be a bully Taka in the early game. And it's reasonably good against Scarf. Obviously, it didn't work in the last game against Scarf, but we saw in almost all the team fights, Samuel will be left alive, and Kestrel was the one who died. So Samuel can trade with Scarf and stay alive at the end of it, whereas Kestrel, it's all about, if Kestrel gets the kill, she wins. If not, she's dead. She's not going to be able to run away, because she'll get bursted down as soon as they get vision on her. So I think Taka's actually really good against Crystal Kestrel, because you can, if you get 1x Retsu in, you can kiten over any traps that she might have set for you. It's pretty obvious when Kestrel's going to try and use them, especially against attacker. So you can dodge that, and then you can constantly basic attack Kestrel to keep her not being able to go invisible. So I do like what Eanix have got. I think it's going to be about how they play it. They need to win before Baron and Kestrel really start ramping up, whereas when Scarf is in a good position. So maybe 3 damage items on Scarf. That's when they need to really push their advantage.
Yep, and there is one more thing as well. As I said before, Brenchong has got a lot of options open for them, and I'm actually quite surprised they did go for that Castro going up against Taka. They would have a better option or a little glimmer of hope going for that Baptiste, so as to stop any advancement coming up from the side of Eanix. And on top of that as well, Baptiste just synergizes so well with that of Catherine. Anyways, as we are jumping into this full casting and talking about this game, of course, alongside Minimizer, we have Arsarai. Take it away.
Hello. So, hey guys, I'm going to be casting with Minimizer, and, well, you were talking a lot about how, come late game, it's just going to be Brenchong all throughout, but we've seen Eanix on that first game just be as aggressive with this Scarf and Lyra, even without any, I guess, helping hand from their junglers. So maybe we're going to see something of that same sort. I mean, it's still going to be a Baron, even though I guess he has his jump jets. Maybe it's something that Eanix can still bypass and get the kills, but we'll just have to see.
Yeah, definitely. I think we're going to see a lot of aggression from Eanix early game, as we saw in the last game against the Kestrel. Against the Baron as well, you really want to pressure him, try and take that first tower as quickly as possible. Truffy's is pushing the wave, so he's definitely going to be trying to push this Baron away. But then again, you're up against and Crystal Kestrel in the jungle. Crystal Kestrel is fantastic at lane ganks, and Brenchong are going to be able to secure that mid treant, but Taka wants to get a kill.
And they're chasing him down, but Majin will be able to survive, although this could be a 3-man rotation in the lane. Brenchong will not capitalize. They just want Mr. Jim to go defensive. He does have a Baron who has a pretty good range in terms of last hitting, and maybe even again that safety with the jump jets. And Majin will be holding his hand now more than ever compared to that previous game wherein he's been rotating more so in the jungle. So maybe this is going to give the Taka some free opening to harass Sync 1 out.
As you said, speaking of the jungle, Taka is trying to invade Sync 1, but Aangudai is going to get a nice sigil from Lyra to keep him from being caught up on Kestrel. He's trying to steal the treant. Actually, he's going to go straight in to try and get damage on Kestrel instead. The problem with Aangudai trying to invade against this Kestrel is Kestrel's fantastic farm secure, good rotation from the
Oh my goodness, they were able to take down Aangudai quickly, but they immediately get the revenge. Rubber Monkey is being chased down here, but the Imperial Sigil will keep him safe for a little bit. Sync 1 puts a really good amount of damage, plus that Glimmer Shot, and that's going to be the 1-for-1.
Yeah, Kestrel managing to secure all of her jungle, but Taka wasn't able to steal any away. Yeah, that is the problem with evading against the Crystal Kestrel. You can't steal farm from Crystal Kestrel unless you have a Stormguard banner, which Taka doesn't have yet. So Kestrel has so much farm secure that you can start it up, you can do a lot of damage, but if Kestrel's anywhere near, she's going to get that last hit on the farm. And Majin, as you said, going to stay in lane and really try and help Baron with that Protector contract just to try and stop, because Spitfire is pretty easy to know if Baron's going to get hit by it. So you can pop that Protector contract and Baron should be okay. Baron and Kestrel taking the backs together, but the mid was taken away by Taka. That's a good rotation from Brenchong, and now they're 3 in lane. They want to fight against Scarf. Too big of a minion wave for them really to do anything.
Aangudai will be spotting out Majin. Majin just saying a hello stun in the jungle. And a little bit of a tussle in the lane. Rubber Monkey will take a significant amount of damage. But Brenchong, again with the 3-man rotation, Rubber Monkey should get caught out here, but their target is Trophies. They blow him up, and that's gonna be another hero kill here for Brenchong.
Yeah, they are gonna rotate as 3 up the lane, and a good gank on Scarf. That's really, Trophies can't be that far ahead when they don't know where Kestrel is, because they have such a good gank with the stun from Catherine. You're going to get 3 Glimmer Shots from Kestrel. Baron's going to basic attack you, and you're going to die really quickly. It looks like Aangudai is actually going to go for a weapon power attacker. Maybe with that health, you might build into a Storm Crown, so we might see Tension Bow off Storm Crown. But 3 weapon blades does indicate he wants to go more than just a Tension Bow. So that's going to be interesting to see how this weapon attacker works. It should work very similar to Crystal against no defense heroes like Crystal Kestrel and Baron, because once you expect to win, you get a couple of basics and they're almost dead anyway. But that's definitely something off meta we're seeing from Aangudai.
Oh, he uses the stealth, spots out Mr. Jim. Mr. Jim has to back off, but there's the Porcupine Artillery. Will chip down Aangudai slowly but surely, and Aangudai will be dipping back into the fight. Gets the heal from the Imperial Sigil, but he will get punished. Mr. Jim survives with a sliver of HP, doesn't get caught inside a bulwark, and Rubber Monkey is in a bad spot. He spots his team actually dying, and looky here, Trophies, the dodges left and right, man. This Scarf is flapping its wings really fast in that one.
Yeah, using boots and dodging every single Glimmer Shot that Kestrel tried to do in that barrage of 4. It was more well played by Trophies than 4 by Sync 1, because it's really hard when someone's using boots to land your skill shots on. They can just run in directions you're not expecting, get the kill. Margin's doing extremely well on getting those Captain of the Guard stacks, already at 12 stacks, 5.5 minutes in. Generally, we saw in the last game that Catherine wasn't getting that many stats. So I think it's good to see. It's good to see Margin really. Sorry, in the game before last, it's really good to see Catherine getting loads of stacks. Taka has got the Tension Bow, so that's a good power spike for him. And I'm really interested to see what he goes next. I'd love to see Sora Blade and that Oak Heart turn into a reflex block. I'd rather see that than an on-hit Tension Bow Storm Crown Aftershock Taka, because this game it does lend itself so hard towards the late game that it doesn't seem like on-hit Taka is going to be any use in the late game. So I don't think that'd be a very smart build for Aangudai.
Maybe the reason here is not, or rather here, we're gonna be seeing Iagri that goes aggressive and damage onto Mr. Jim. Well, maybe the reason here is they're making him into the glass cannon assassin, or just going for early game. Or maybe they're just really investing in the early game to mid game, not really looking forward to that late game. Just because, again, you said in the drafting that, well, it's a Baron, it's a Kestrel, and Iagri Dice gonna be right here. Will he get that last shot from the turret to actually die? Yes, he will. My goodness, Eanix are overcommitting into this one. The Merciless Pursuit, there's the chase. Nice goop coming in from Trophies. And he'll be able to slow down Majin for the meantime. But Majin, oh, man, it's like the scene in Jaws. You're just waiting for the shark to go up in the water. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he dived under the turret to maybe see if Scarf was before home. And Liva with one basic attack, just in the turret away from Mr. Jim. That's actually really important because Mr. Jim now has little energy after that jump jets. Synchron's going to be there to make sure Taka doesn't go in too deep. And Dai agrees with me. He's gone for the tension bow, reflex block, and looking like he might move into a Soul Blade next item. It's a really good build on Taka because there's not going to be defense on you. Just go for Soul Blade for pure damage. Trophy's so low, they forced to bounce it. Brenchong really going to pressure this turret now.
And this turret is still on full HP. Well, they have to be very careful. Mr. Jim is on that Baron. The Kestrel also will be able to put out some glimmer shots, but Iagri Yudai will be starting off the fight. He's actually going to break through. Rubber Monkey uses the bulwark just to be able to zone out for the meantime, but Brenchong is starting to ramp up. Look at the damage onto Trophies. He just dipped into the fight for a second, and 3/4 of his HP got sliced away from his bar. Brenchong, imagine, will he go? Gets the connection on the Merciless Pursuit. Iagri Yudai will be able to get out from the damage of the Porcupine Artillery. Trophies, no ultimate just yet. He's level 7, but he is maximizing that Goop and Spitfire combo. And a little bit of delay. There you go, hero kill. Onto the Baron, perfect. The shutdown is real. The passageway used. Iagri Yudai is chipping him in. Can he do it? One more shot. There it is. And he gets it. He does actually sacrifice his life, but still, that's going to be Eanix to find the formula to the madness. And they get themselves back into the fight.
Well played by Eanix. That was spectacular target focus. And Iagri Yudai with the selfless play to dive under between two turrets to make sure they got the ace, because that secured one turret and will be a gold mine. Yes, it will, but not quite there in time. One thing I want to point out is Iagri Yudai on this Taka, he dodged the Catherine's silence with his Chitin. So he wasn't silenced by the blast gun of Catherine because he used his Chitin at the right time, whereas the Crucible I don't think was finished by Rubber Monkey before that fight. So Taka just went, yeah, that's okay. I still won't get silenced. I don't even need to use my block for it. And he now can pick up a Soul Blade. So Trophies could be out of position. He will be going almost down.
Oh my goodness, he has Rubber Monkey to hold his hand. Here comes Iagri Yudai, goes in from the side. Let's go to aggressive onto Mr. Jim, chasing him down. Majin is still here. One more second, Blast Tremor is up and running. He will use it primed and ready. Will he go? Look at Rubber Monkey, brought so low. Blast Tremor to connect as well. My goodness, the damage from the one shot, one kill. They really have to be respectful on this Kestrel. Majin will get caught out. The turret has been destroyed and the chase is on. Trophies will be looking to actually just go in and out. Put out the Goop as well as the Spitfire, but it's not going to help them out. For now, no kills, but the turret was hard fought and Brenchong wins.
Brenchong managing to take down their first turret. With a comp like Baron and Kestrel, you do expect turrets to fall, because Kestrel just unloading those glimmer shots onto the turret is going to take it down really quickly, and especially with Baron's Iron Cannon to push Scarf back. Got so low from Kestrel that forced to be pretty much unable to defend the turret with Baron's Iron Cannon. So it's a good play from the side of Brenchong. I think they have the chance to win this, as I said, if it gets to late game. One thing I want to point out is Mr. Jim actually went Serpent's Mask as first item, and then Tension Bow and Chance Monaco as you expect a Baron to go. I think it could work against this Taka. I'd prefer to see just pure damage. I think that makes more sense. Going up against against attacker, you just need to burst him down as quickly as possible. But Mr. Jim, he's gone for that sustain. I think it can work. But I think it would be made more sense to go pure.
Maybe he's just going for the safety, but look at here. Think one setting it up. My goodness, this guy is on rampage, and Eanix have to back away. Iangry Die in the worst of situations there. Gets spotted out by the scout trap. But here comes Truffy's. He's going to be trying to go for the flank, but he only chips down Mr. Jim. Iangry Die will get shut down as he gets pierced in the back with that glimmer shot. And Majin spots out Truffy's, and this dragon will get shut down. No Khaleesi for you, and Brenchong actually get 2 kills for the price of none.
Yeah, that was well played by Sing1, setting up the kill on his side of the jungle, chasing Taka all the way to his critical sentry, using that arcane passage from Lyra to move across the map. It was a good secure by Sing1, managing to land those glimmer shots with the Frostburn. Means you're more likely to land more than 1 glimmer shot in a row. Truffy's did go for Shatterglass as a first item, which you don't generally see on Scarf. You see Frostburn, Broken Myth, Eve, and Clockwork as the 4 items Scarf generally goes for. But this time Truffy's wants pure damage against this squishy double hard carry of Brenchong. And I think I said Mr. Jim's Serpent's Mask build isn't great, and it's not if you're fighting when you only have a Serpent's Mask attention bow. However, he's been fighting when he has Serpent's Mask attention bow and 1 Tyrant, working towards the second. So he's doing 500 crits onto Scarf anyway. Turning that crit up to 600 with a Soul Blade instead of a Serpent's Mask isn't that important. It's more important that he gets the heal from Serpent's Mask, because now he doesn't need to damage the Soul Blade. He's got the crit of Tyrant's Monocle. So it's a smart build from Mr. Jim. Maybe I would have built it in a different order, but he's decided that because Kesha does the pure damage, he can just be the hero to try and sustain.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they're just trying to be as careful as possible against Taka, because you saw Eanix had 1 good fight right there, and Taka, or rather Iangry Die, was the one to finish it all off. Maybe if he has the sustain, he'll be able to, I guess, offset that a little bit. Maybe that was just his mindset through that. So, yeah. Right now, Goldmine could be the next objective for both of these teams. Still 1 minute and 30 before the Kraken spawns, and Majin will not face Check a Brush, but almost gets engaged upon by Eanix. Pops the Stormguard, and she'll be alright.
Yeah, Majin able to get away using that Merciful Pursuit as a disengaged tool. Obviously, you want the opposite of Pursuit, and run away is probably the best term, but yeah, Merciless Disengage. And Baron now's got his 4 completed damage items. That's extremely good. He's got a little bit of shield against Scarf. Makes sense because Scarf hasn't built Broken Myth. Gone for the Shatterglass and Frostburn and Eve, as I said earlier. So that means that the shield pierce is delayed on Scarf. So Baron picking up a little bit of that. And I expect to see Aegis over a Slumbering Husk. We still could see a Husk, and Brenchong want to push this home.
They're pushing it. Look at the damage from the Kestrel. Offensive Bulwark as well, and they are really forcing it to... will not get the target that he wants to. Already using the Xretsu, but it is on a very low cooldown, so maybe they will re-engage again in a second, and it's up. Oh my goodness, the connection from that rocket though. They gotta back away. Brenchong has still full HP, and Sync1 is in the front line. He's going in aggressive. The Glimmer Shot to connect onto Truffy's, and he's also very low. Iangry Die to reset once more. He's providing good amounts of distraction here, but is it gonna be enough? As Iangry Die is going a little bit of footsie work against Sync1. Can he get it? Goes Envy, goes back in. Perfect! But Mr. Jim is right here, and he gets a double kill connection with those rockets. That was huge from Brenchong, and they even get themselves the turret. So all of that commitment to the Kestrel, and still Brenchong wins that fight.
They do. They look like they want to get another turret as well. Taka did port back to base.
Oh no! Iangry Die, and it will be enough. That's gonna be an ace, and they're gonna get the choke turret as well. This is not looking good for Eanix at all.
It's not. We said that if it gets to late game, Brenchong have the advantage, but we're not even in late game. We're in the mid game at the moment, and Brenchong is still winning these fights, taking the turrets, taking the objectives. Mr. Jim has just got so much damage that it's pretty much uncounted. He can go full build now with that 3,000 gold, and he will pick up the Aegis and wants to get War Treads, so can't quite afford those tier 3 boots just yet. And I think this is extremely good for Brenchong. Obviously, Sync 1 has a little bit of attacker defense. As you said, the whole emphasis of Eanix's comp is their dive Kestrel, kill her, and then we'll focus on Baron next. But that's just not working. Takker's dying to Kestrel. He may trade the kill, he may not, but while he's doing all of that, Truffy's is just dying to this Baron. The double shots from the jump jets and splash damage means if anyone stands next to each other on Eanix, they're going to die so quickly to Baron and Kestrel. They both have loads of splash damage if you stand side by side. It's been another sentry taken out by Brenchong. I think there's one life left. So it looks like Eanix is going to have to get a pretty miraculous Kraken steal and fight win to try and turn this game around.
The miraculous win they do need, but can they do so? Eanix, I mean, they've been approaching these fights only one opening at a time, which is the passage into the Taka going in. But now, as Brenchong forces the fight, they gotta reposition and try to understand how they're gonna be able to win this one, as that Kestrel and Baron are starting to be the ones to out-damage Truffy's. Truffy's cannot get an opening at all. Ayangari will be starting up, but that's Majin. That's not someone that they want to go as the first target. They lose the Lyra, and Ayangari is gonna go in. He might get chased down here. Here's the jump jets. Oh, he will not! The double rocket from the Baron, and only Truffy's to remain. 30 seconds, 20 seconds left into the timers of Rubber Monkey and Ayangari. And could this be the GG push for Brenchong? I don't think so. The Kraken is still alive, so maybe that's their next target.
Yeah, they're going to start up the Kraken. There is vision on the Kraken that Rubber Monkey to put down, so Scarf knows the Kraken can take. He can try and steal it. Obviously, Baron is just there, standing very aggressively to make sure that if Scarf does come to try and steal it, she will be just killed. Obviously, Truffy's without any defense now has got the full broken myth. Well, obviously when he shots. So that's the 4 damage items that Scarf had before. He's picked up a little bit later in this game. And it's already at the point where Baron's completely fully built, Kestrel's nearly fully built, and this Catherine with the Null Wave and Echo. In the last team fight, it didn't really do much. The Null Wave hit Lyra, it wasn't blocked, and then the Echo, the Silence hit Taka, but the Brenchong really couldn't follow up at the same time. But with this Kraken push, it'll be pretty simple for Majin to be able to secure that double silence, or at least if the item silence doesn't hit, it does hit and it's blocked, then you can double use your blast jump. So Marco's going to go in.
Alright, Gyudai is going to go in. This is the Hail Mary right now. Play right now as Brenchong are going for the GG. Majin is very low, but he has done his job. Mr. Jim and Sync 1 are dealing the backline damage, and they are in no threat of Rubber Monkey and especially Truffy's. Truffy's will get caught out. There's going to be the defensive passageway from the Lyra, but it is over for game 2. GGWP. Brenchong have pulled it back once again, and we are going into game 3.
Yeah, we are. What a play from Brenchong. They exactly knew what Eanix were going to pick. They knew they liked Scarf and they liked an Assassin. They banned away the Glaive, who couldn't be played to dive in, so they were forced to go with